So I believe I have a word in my spirit I want to let go. And I was just thinking, like, about my past 10 years in life. And if you would have told me or allowed me to see what I'd had to go through, 10 years ago, all the way up to get to this point, and I tell you, um, some people could look through the lenses of how they see success or whatever their life, and look at my life and say, that guy's crazy. He's not established. He's not this. He's not that. Anyhow, when people ask me today, "Hey Gary, how you doing?" I say, "Well, man, depends." I said, emotionally, pretty well. Mentally, great. Spiritually, I'm growing. Physically, I'm probably, lacking in some areas. Financially, definitely not where I want to be. But I'll tell you what, overall, I'm good because I understand that the way I'm doing, my identity and my self worth is not attached to the dollar sign. And I used to be that way, and now this process has taught me that I had to let go and allow God. I mean, I've had so many struggles financially. I had so many struggles eternally. I had so many struggles with relationships. What did that teach me? That taught me that I had to let certain relationships go, right? Because if they're not for my highest good, if they're not gonna give me the same respect and energy I give them back, and guess what? They're not sent from God, right? So on this life, on this pathway, there's many different paths we can take, but it depends on what's driving us, right? It depends on what our goal, our end game is. And I tell you what, man, when you're living for God, the path that you take is never anything for me. For my experience, is not something that I knew clearly, but stepping back, I can see how, yeah, in the beginning when I had to apply faith, it was just enough faith to get me through the day, right? Just enough faith to get me through a minute, you know? And I had to apply some courage to walk through some humiliation, some scapegoating, some accusations, right? And it seemed like the whole world was against me. It seemed like because the enemy was trying to sabotage my character. He was trying to steal my finances. I felt like a scene in the Bible. I'm telling you right now, I'm still growing through some things. However, God is faithful. What the enemy meant for my harm, God used to my advantage. And today I can tell you, man, if it wasn't for those things I walked through, I would not be a strong individual today, right? Because if God's going to use you, He's got to know that you can't be compromised, right? Can I be compromised by money? Or can I be compromised by fame or fortune or even women or status quo or whatever? Can I be compromised? Can you influence my opinion about someone else without me doing my own research? Absolutely not, because that's been done to me. There's why reason it has been done to me. Can you get me to lie, and try to sabotage people? No. Why? Because it's been done to me, right? Can you get me to backstab and betray people? No, absolutely not. I won't have no parts of it. Why? Because it's not what I stand for. I stand for principles. I stand for values. And that's what the enemy don't like, because the enemy understands that when you stand on that, you're gonna grow through it. He can't sabotage me. He can't get me to get off my path, so he uses other people to try and do it. And now here's the question. So those people were able to be influenced, right? Compromised. People were able to be compromised and influenced because of whatever. And this is another lesson I learned, man. If you got envy or jealousy or hatred in your heart, that's why Jesus says to deal with it, right? Don't let the sun go down without dealing with your anger, right? Why? Because the enemy is going to and fro looking to who he can devour. That's how he devours you. He knows you're dealing with envy or hatred or whatever it is, and then here comes somebody that may irritate you a little bit. If you don't deal with it right then and there, the enemy will use you, to do something against that person. And then what? Now you're being used by the devil, right? Now you're being used by the enemy. And then the enemy also knows that our true currency is our emotions. Why do you think he's always after your emotions? Huh? Why do you think that it's such a war out there with narcissistic people to attack people? They're always trying to defeat people emotionally. Why? Because what you carry will never give birth as long as they keep you at a lower level vibrating frequency, like shame or guilt or anger or envy or jealousy. We must deal with these things, because once we deal with these things, we can rise above them. Just deal with them as they come. That's when God can rise above you, right? When James says, count it all joy when face many trials and tribulations, because it produces long suffering, faith, perseverance, kindness, goodness. These are the attributes that are already in every single one of you. But trauma and pain and open wounds and betrayal and backstab from the world have caused people to shrink, dim their light. And some people hurt people, right? Some people use that and hurt others. So I just want to encourage you, man. If I said anything that you have any questions on, DM me, ask me some questions. I'll give you the best of my experience and my knowledge. I walk with God on a daily basis, and I'm proud to say that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, in the eyes of the world, my life isn't nothing that anybody would be inspired by. No, but the people that are struggling, right? And it's only I'm inspired by it. You know what I mean? And I have a long way to go. But the people that are struggling, I can help. I can help you see the attacks of the enemy. I can expose the lies that we accept in our mindset, right? I can expose what attachments that we shouldn't be carrying, right? Because it wasn't meant for us in the first place. It wasn't the original design. Now, creation has gone way far away from our original design. I agree with that. But God's raising a standard. Believe that. I promise you. Stick in there. Love and light.